Um, regarding Tuskegee University, there was only one, well, there were two things that were done here at Tuskegee. There were two autopsies that were performed in this hospital where you're at right now, which is John A. Andrew Memorial Hospital, which was right here.
Okay.
In the basement was the where the autopsies were done.
Okay.
And that's only two things that were done.
Was that post 1972 or was that before?
It was
It came out
pre
in the press.
1970.
Okay.
Because of what Tuskegee means, and you got to look at it like this, okay? Tuskegee University, a premier HBCU, historically black college and university, who had a nursing school and had a hospital and had a VA next door, okay? To Macon County is an enigma in that, see, this was not, it didn't start off as a Tuskegee experiment. You know that, right?
Right.
All right. It started off as a granted project to identify the high end areas where syphilis was occurring, or sexually transmitted diseases or whatever, STD. But in particular, syphilis, was what was under consideration. And there were places in Mississippi and Alabama that were looked at.
Okay.
But the experiment was put here in Macon County because there was a high incidence of syphilis because of Tuskegee University, because of the hospital, because of the nurses. And what makes this interesting is that at that time, the nurse, her name was Nurse Rivers. Nurse Rivers, an African American from here, they trusted her. Okay, all the people that participated. The participants would be gathered together at Shiloh, places like Shiloh, under the trees, where they would be tested, checked. I don't know whether you know this or not, but during World War II, Joseph Mengele and the Nazis performed all kinds of experiments on humans. And their work that they did is used now by the medical profession. When we're talking about what happens to a body when it dehydrates, that's not something we find out today. It's from 1940s, the experiments done by the Nazis. Well, these experiments too that transpired here were probably used for something in some vein. Oh, yeah, why? Because you have the nurse who was a black woman and the doctors who were white, experimenting on these people. They didn't know it, and so that general mistrust exists today in their children, their grandchildren, and others, and so it's still going on today.
The Bioethics Research Center, this was originally the first black hospital, and this is where they conducted the Tuskegee experiment, the syphilis experiment, where they inflicted African-American men to see how it worked on blacks as opposed to whites during the Second World War. Currently we have a museum dedicated to a lot of black history artifacts and art and literature. And you can check it out. It's like right now here's the George Washington Museum. The syphilis study, being African American, that was just something that we know. We kind of pass around information that it's one of those traditional things that we learn. And also here we have an orientation class as a freshman, and you have to go through and understand the history of the school and the history of the building that we're taking classes in. So.